Oh, they got the unis every kid wants. They got the Rose Bowl victory. They got the best, fastest offense Chip Kelly could design recently. I had the chance to go one-on-one with Oregon's head coach, Chip Kelly.
Finds Huff wide open. Huff beats the corner. Breaks free for a touchdown. How about this?
Hey, Duck fans. Well, say hello to the 2012-2013 collegiate sports season. It's underway. Student athletes are on campus, training for the fall. Oregon soccer, Oregon volleyball, and Oregon football are all on campus practicing. Volleyball actually had their first scrimmage already on Saturday, the green versus the white game. From what I hear, Oregon won. So, all right. All eyes are, of course, on football practice. The team is now in full pads, going through two-a-days. Even though practices are closed to the public and media, there is at least a little bit of information trickling out, so let's go over what's going on. First of all, there has been an injury already, the extent of which we're not really sure because you know how information is with the University of Oregon's program these days. Lake Koaka'i. He was recruited as a defensive end out of Hawaii, then switched to tight end to help fill out the depth chart in the fall position of need, while Christian French, tight end, was converted to defensive end. Well, Ka'ai has been seen on crutches with a boot on his foot, so that's not good, though the extent of the injury isn't public. It is a concern, though, because tight end depth was already an issue, because Colt Lyerla, the only tight end on the roster with any game experience whatsoever, has not been at camp. He's dealing with what is being called a personal matter. Now, there's been a lot of rumors about Colt. The only tangible information is what we've heard directly from Chip Kelly, who has said he's not in camp, he's dealing with a personal matter. Take that for what you will. There was also a defection this week, as redshirt freshman Takoy Sumler has decided to transfer out of the program. He's heading to Appalachian State to be closer to home, and that's always understandable. Sumler's from Florida. He was a four-star recruit, considered one of the fastest athletes in the country, and I thought, he might have a place on the Oregon track team as well, but he wanted to be closer to home, and there's the issue of the depth chart. There's a lot of wide receivers on this team. Maybe he wasn't going to get a lot of chances to play. The question remains, of course, who among the group is going to step up and be that consistent receiver that Oregon has lacked ever since Jeff Mail graduated. We saw Sumler catch one ball in the spring game, and that's the extent of his career as an Oregon Duck, but I certainly wish him well. And the last bit of news coming out of Oregon camp that's kind of interesting is that somehow Oregon has actually figured out how to practice even faster. They now split their rosters through much of the practices, and whereas before they were averaging about 120 snaps over the course of a practice, Chip said they're now doing about 180. That means more reps, which means more snaps, which means more training time, which means more opportunity for guys to learn, become better players. Does mean more of an opportunity for injuries, but hey, this team is going to be very well conditioned if they're running 180 snaps per practice. That's unbelievable. The University of Oregon also unveiled what they are calling the Quack Cave. It is a new section of the Casanova Center devoted solely to monitoring and interacting with Oregon fans on social media. It's a nice little setup for Andy Mack and Craig Pintons and the rest of the Duck squad to keep track of everything. GoDucks.com, of course, they posted another great tour video like they always do, showcasing the facility on YouTube. So check it out. You can check out the video right here. This weekend, the Olympics wrapped up. 2 weeks are over. It's been fun, a nice little respite, a change of pace from summer doldrums where there's normally only baseball going on. We got to see rhythmic gymnastics and whitewater kayaking and dressage and other weird random sports. But in the mix of that, there were also 11 Oregon Duck athletes competing. 11 that just sparkled in London. So 2 of them earned medals, Galen Rupp and Ashton Eaton. Galen Rupp picked up a silver medal in a thrilling 10,000 meters final, but could only muster 7th place in the 5K on Saturday. Ashton Eaton, though, showed no doubt that he is the premier athlete in the world, at least when it comes to the decathlon, continuing his domination in that sport. After he set the world record in the Olympic trials in Eugene, Ashton cruised to the gold medal in the event, which is commonly known as the competition to determine the world's greatest athletes. So Bend, Oregon native Ashton Eaton at least for now, is the world's greatest athlete, an Oregon Duck. Also of note, and quite a feel-good story coming out of the games, was Chamberlain Oguchi. Duck fans may remember Oguchi for one game in the Pac-10 basketball tournament where he couldn't miss, ever. But his junior year, his shot was really off, and he chose to transfer to Illinois State to finish out his college days. Oguchi, in the time since, he spent some time in the NBA D-League as well as overseas, trying to really develop his game. And in the Olympics, playing for Team Nigeria, Chamberlain absolutely shined in one game. Albeit it was a loss to Team France, he scored 35 points, including 8 three-pointers, outplaying NBA stars Tony Parker, Nicholas Batum, Boris Diaw, and Ike Diagu. It was such a stellar performance that Oguchi is now receiving NBA camp invites. So best of luck to him, and who knows, perhaps he'll be Oregon's next Ivan Johnson, making it to the NBA through a roundabout way. So congratulations, Chamberlain. Best of luck, time to go to work. On FishDuck.com this past week, Charles continued his look at Oregon's defense leading up to the start of the 2012 season. This time he looked at the radar psycho Times Square zone blitz. It's my favorite aspect of Oregon's defense. I love it when they run this. Click here to check out the full video. And for our weekly interview series, the one-on-one, I interviewed one of the best wide receivers in Oregon history, Keenan Howry. Keenan recounted some of his favorite memories as a Duck and what he's been up to these days. So you can click here to watch the full thing. And we had plenty of informative articles this week, as always, including a guest article from Coach Curtis Peterson on Friday talking about things for coaches to remember during two-a-day practices. We had the first article from our newest writers, a brother-sister duo that has joined our writing team, Pat and Jai Panu. They are UO students who are taking a look back at the history of the BCS over the last 12 years, specifically years where the BCS kind of ended controversially, and taking a look at how a 4-team playoff might have played out, considering that starting in 2014, we're going to have a 4-team playoff. So who would have played in a 4-team playoff had there been one, rather than the BCS structure? Of course, to keep up with all of our articles and videos, you can just sign up for our weekly newsletter. It's right on the front page. It only takes a second. Enter in your email address. We won't endlessly spam you. We'll just keep you up to date on everything that's going on with Oregon sports at FishDuck.com. Also, don't forget about our massive video archive, our historical photo gallery, our history section, our forum, and other goodies that abound here on FishDuck.com. And of course, please support our advertisers. And now, my random tweet of the week.
Hey, will you shut up?
Thank you.
Music recommendation time. Well, I live in Los Angeles. I work in the music industry. I like to think I know at least a few things about music. And rather than talking about a relatively new artist, I want to talk about one that we lost this week, Danny Blitz. Danny Blitz from Danny Blitz and the Jet Age Hoods passed away this past week. Danny had been a staple on the local LA scene for years, playing rockabilly-inspired punk rock with a humorous twist and gaining quite a following until some health issues a few years back put his career and his life at risk, requiring brain surgery, and he lost the ability to play guitar, for a time at least. He recovered some, but was never quite the same fun-loving, high-spirited guy, but Danny Blitz and the Jet Age Hoods lived on, and I will always remember him because he was the real-life personification of the cartoon show Johnny Bravo. In fact, I'm convinced that show was based on Danny Blitz. He will be best remembered for his song, If Ozzy Was My Dad, Well That Would Rock, which was used extensively on MTV's hit show The Osbournes. Danny was a good dude, so please, go check out some of his work with Danny Blitz and the Jet Age Hoods.
If only I could be
was my dad, well that would rock.
So that does it for me this week. Rest in peace, Danny. Thanks for all the music. And thank you for tuning in as always. We'll have plenty more coming up, and we're only a few short weeks away at this point from football season. So keep checking back to FishDuck.com. Until next time, this is Kurt saying go fish, get hooked, go Ducks.